And we're on. Today we're not going live because I've been blocked. Apparently I harassed someone telling him that animals want to live just like you. Apparently that's bullying and harassment. However, we're doing this anyway, and we're starting as always with the first set. And today we're going to talk about actually answering the comment. I shared my story about my drug use and partying, and so I'm going to answer some of the comments that I got below my post. So I need to lower this a little bit so it's easier to start. So I should... How does this look? Does it look okay? Right, for the ones that haven't read my posts on Instagram, maybe you're watching this on YouTube, you can go on my Instagram, Stefano Vegan Calisthenics, and it's about there. You'll find it. But anyway, you know, like to give you a quick story about my drug use. So I've been a bartender, and since the beginning, since I was very young, I was closing myself and looking for a safe place through drugs, and that happened when I was about 14 years old. I remember I got drunk my first time. For some reason, yeah, I don't know if did I comment on this. I made a disaster. Like I got all the magnesium on me, all the chalk, and here it is. But yeah, I naturally find it enjoyable to get fucked, you know, with drugs and alcohol. And so it started with alcohol, of course, and joints when I was younger. Then I moved to the UK. You know, I started working as a bartender, and then there is where I would start using drugs. Like the first time I tried ecstasy, it was amazing. I thought I wanted to be that high every day, every moment of my life. But then I said, in fact, I bought 10 pills all together. You know, I thought I was going to do that every time I could, but I quickly realized that the tolerance with MDMA and ecstasy kicks in pretty quickly. So yeah, it's just couldn't do what I planned to do. A little disappointed there, but better that happens, right? And then the thing escalated with the cocaine when I went from Edinburgh to London. You know, London is the worst scenario that for someone that have some addictive personality. You know, addictive personality. You know, ADHD also, it seems like to play a role in the drug use, right? Is this constant necessity to have a rush of dopamine and do something that you're really interested in and super focused on. So drugs give you that shortcut to that feeling, you know. And yeah, like London is not the best environment, like especially as a bartender. All my co-workers, no, not all of them, well, you can say all of them were into party, you know, everyone was into drugs, but definitely you know, many of them were doing cocaine, so we would buy cocaine together. And I have a very long period of my life, I think between 20 and like 24, 25 years old, where basically my routine was working and going to party. So like for me, going to party was the way of enjoying life. I didn't know why other people wouldn't do it, why other people would go home on a Saturday at 4 a.m. in the morning after we would have worked long hours they would prefer going home instead of going to party, right? So for me, it was like, yeah, okay, I'm tired, but I need to have fun, right? I need to be happy. That was kind of what was my my thought process. And at the end of the post, I think it's time for another set. I wanted to go lighter with the band, but I'm not sure. I might do another set with a medium band, and after this, maybe we make it harder. Whew. Moving from 3 minutes rest to 4 minutes, and I am going to go for less help. Let's see how that goes. So yeah, so at the end of this story, I said that I am now more responsible and mindful about my drug use, but I'm not sober. This is how the post ended. I think another part of the post that you should definitely know, because that might shock someone, and that was my the most scary part of my drug use, right? Some people don't take drugs because they're scared of what happens if they take drugs. They're just scared, right? But I wasn't scared that much. In fact, when I was fucked, I was like the happiest. I was like, oh yeah. The other part of my journey is that I always had good tolerance. Like I wouldn't lose my mind too much. I was always kind of in control of the situation. And you'd be like, oh yeah, of course you were in control. That's not true, but it is true, especially if I compare myself to other people that have a couple of drinks and they go completely crazy. They don't remember what happens the next day. I would remember what happens the next day every time. Unfortunately, our powerful light has gone, so low quality, welcome. Anyway, so what happens once? So once I was in a after party. So actually, yeah, my routine wasn't just working and party. Like my routine was like, especially in the weekend, finish work at 4, 5 a.m. sometimes even 6 a.m. That was absolute slavery. Like if you've been working in hospitality, you know that it often feels like slavery. So I would finish work very late. I would go to Fabric in London to my first techno party. Fabric would close sometimes 7, 8, sometimes even 9. And then I would go to an after party in Elephant and Castle, a place called Corsica Studio. It was my most common place where I would go to an after party. And they would do a party from like 7, I think, until 1 or 2 p.m. Right? And after that, sometimes I would also go further. I would definitely keep taking drugs, but I wouldn't always go to actually party. But this story in particular, after Corsica Studio, I remember at some point before leaving, I took a pill of ecstasy, and I passed out outside of the club. And I just remember that, I wake up, the police was there. They asked me if I had any more drugs. I said no, but of course I had. And then the ambulance came. They tested me. Everything was all right. And what I do? I go to a party that was planned for the evening. So you see, completely, careless about consequences from drug use. So trust me, I was highly careless. One of the reasons why, and it's time to do the set. Let's not get lost. Right, so this is going to be hard, yeah? So these two bands together, they don't help a lot. So I'm really going to keep it low in repetitions. I'm going to try to do my 3 clean ones. 3 clean repetitions. All right, let's go. Oh. Okay, that felt okay. Let me know how that looked. So I was saying that, you know, that's the thing that I think most I have realized in my way of thinking between now and then. Actually, I should say not my way of thinking, because also today when where I'm more responsible. I'm more responsible for sure. Yeah, I'm more responsible. I'm definitely more responsible. Maybe I don't see the damage as much, right? So I'm not too worried. I'm not really worried about the consequences, but I'm definitely more conscious when it happens that I use drugs. But what I think is the major difference between then and today is that then my pain and that kind of trauma was just stronger than the pain of going to work without sleep, or having these very hard hangovers, or holding on to a party even though I was tired and my feet were in pain, right? Because that pain was less painful than real life. I don't know how to explain it, because at the end of the day, my life wasn't horrible, So I don't know. It's just just a mechanism that builds up. It doesn't have to be necessarily, because at the end of the day, drug use comes down to the opportunity to use drug, right? It's not like a direct consequence of pain. It's just something that people can do or cannot do. But let's get to the comment, and let's keep this more relatable to what the people commented on my post. Light plus upper light front lever pull-ups. So we started with the medium. I'm not going to write down the medium one. I'm just going to say I did 3 with this format. So the first one is, what was the turning point for you? Thank you for sharing this brutally honest journey. So the turning point for me was clear, like very clear. We're going back to this point, but I was training. I was not like lost into doing nothing and letting go myself. Never. Like never in my life. I was just like, fuck it. I'm not training. All I do is following what I have to do in the system, and what most people in society do. No, never. I always valued a lot. It sounds funny. It is funny, but I always valued healthy habits and improve myself through training. So the turning point for me was the fact that after the ad. I think those 3 reps are nice and clean. The turning point for me was when I was doing cocaine 3 times a week or kind of more. And this was something that sometimes it would happen, but this was a period in which I was kind of doing it for multiple weeks. That would happen. I would take cocaine multiple times per week. You know, and another thing that didn't help was that my flatmate was doing it, and we would, and you know, we would sometimes would come back home. He wasn't working. I said, well, let's call the guy. So, you know, the environment was definitely not helping. But as I said, I was still committed to some kind of training routine. 3 times per week was my goal, and in that period, I saw my commitment to training. It wasn't even the commitment to training. I couldn't physically follow my workout routine, like time-wise. At times I just couldn't do it. I didn't have time, because if I would take cocaine, I would go to sleep later, and I wouldn't wake up in time because I had to go to work. Or if I didn't sleep, I'd definitely not going to a workout without a sleep, high on drugs. I mean, that was definitely not doable. So you know, I realized that. Like, I realized, you know, something is not right here. I cannot, you know, okay, you know, I was telling to myself, okay, you know, like, you're having fun, you want to have party, you want to get fucked and dance and talk with stranger, and, you know, and feel like you are more social, and there is no you have no barrier into interact with others or girls. It's okay that you want this, I was telling to myself, but, you know, you cannot, you know, give your soul to this. This is taking away from you something important. I wasn't even thinking about health, I'll be honest with you. Like, I don't know why, but I was really not concerned about negative health consequences from drug use. And so, in this moment was the moment where I forced myself to have my first dry month, which wasn't even a dry month, to be honest. And I did it in the most horrible period ever, but I did it in December in London. If you are a bartender or you work in hospitality in London, you know that December is a hell of a period. Like, I was working sometimes, I think I've done some 70 hours a week and some 14 plus hours shifts, like something that's not good. You know, that's slavery. They're not treating you well. Let's be honest. And that we can say I wasn't treating them well neither. I was drinking for free behind the bar. I was offering drinks to my friends. I would steal stuff at the time. So it was both ways, I guess. But yeah, so I decided to do a dry month, which wasn't even dry. Is this the second or third one? Third one. All right, so can I do 4? Kind of. It's kind of 4. I'm back to 3 minutes rest. So December is crazy, right? And I decided to do a dry month. Why I'm doing this is because I was just not taking drugs, but I would still drink alcohol. And what was the reaction? I was anxious. Like, anxiety kicked in. I remember I was a supervisor, and I was anxious, but at the same time I was also fuller with energy. So it's true that I feel like, this is the thing. I feel like, when you use drugs, you are covering stuff. You're covering things, and you're ignoring them. And the more you cover them, the more it's going to, crush you when you start to be mindful about their existence. So I believe, I never really liked the environment of being a bartender, right? And I told you, like, there was slavery, a lot of hours. And I didn't like to work with people that were unorganized, and I was a supervisor. So I was getting pretty upset with people that wasn't doing their job, because it's not only about doing your job because you need to do money for the company, let's say. Like when it's busy and people is like not being organized, and it doesn't fill up the things, and it's not being fast at the bar, you just put everyone else in a horrible spot, because I have to work harder because you're not working hard enough. But that's also something bad about the environment, I believe, because you're kind of forced to go super hard. So there was also another reason why I decided to do my dry months in December, and that was because I knew it was going to be New Year's Eve. So I actually, I was kind of I wanted to be good, but underneath I was still fueling my desire of party. Because the reason why I did it from the beginning of December was because I wanted to party on New Year's Eve, right? So I already planned my going back to drugs. Anyway, that has been my turning point. Really, it gave me this feeling of, let me do this. So it gave me this feeling, of feeling better as well, being without drugs. So it made me realize that there is something else rather than pushing through party and hangovers and drug use and not feeling your best and just hammering your brain and your body with these substances. And that's why I think, before I move forward, I want to say, because I move to the next thing, I just want to say, this has been my first dry months in which I did drink alcohol, but after that I started to do these dry period systematically, multiple times per year, and they increased in length. Then I would do 2 months, do 3 months, right? So I guess this discipline towards doing these months, slowly started to unpack and balance myself more and more towards a healthier life. Until the point of doing 8 months completely sober this year. So this year I've been sober till September. I think, was it September? It was 8 months. It was from January, like after the New Year's Eve, up until September, I've been completely sober. The goal and the mindset was actually to do 12 months fully sober. Why that didn't happen, that's a different story. But you know, I think this is the answer to what was the turning point, the initial turning point. You know, the thing that made me say, "Yo, you need to slow down." Okay, and then it just has been just escalating, I would say, towards better, right? So what I wanted to suggest after I do my set what I wanted to suggest is whether you drink only on weekends, you drink every 2 weeks, or you have another kind of addiction that you believe is not harmful to you. I suggest you quit for a month, whatever it is, as a challenge. You know, just tell yourself that you're doing the challenge, because here's the thing, like, you don't have to, I don't believe you necessarily have to be sober in your life. Can it be a great choice? Yeah. If that's how you want to live, if it feels good, you can be sober. I don't think it's like necessary, right? But doing a period of sobriety is going to click something in your brain, because you know, when you're sober, you are forced to follow what you truly want to do. Like, for example, when you are out with friends and I remember, like, I do like techno, right? But sometimes you go to techno party and the DJ just shit, or just a completely different genre than the one that you expected, that you like, than the one before. You know, and I used to take more drugs in those moments. I'd be more fucked and less conscious of the music, and still keep going. But when you're sober, you don't do that. You leave. You try to change the situation, right? You don't mask your true feelings. You don't mask. So it becomes a journey of self-discovery. Like, for example, as in these 8 months sober, I've been to techno parties a couple of times, and I've realized that if I want to be, you know, if I want to be happy, let's say, if I want to enjoy the time I'm there, I need to follow what my body is telling me. Like, am I tired? Am I too tired to be here? Let's go home. I don't need to be forced to be here. Do I not like the music? Right, let's leave again. On the other side, I have learned that I do enjoy techno party also while being sober. I like to dance, you know. You can see my feet, but you know, I like to shuffle. I like to shuffle a lot. So it's actually techno and shuffle, they go well together. And so I actually like to dance. And I also noticed that, you know, going to a techno party, dancing is like fucking, it's like doing some kind of ultra marathon, you know, not competitive one, where you go at your own pace. But, you know, dancing and jumping for 3 hours, it's a good workout. Like I've now done 20 kilometers running. I do my 10K, 12 kilometers. So I do good distance, right? And I run for 1 hour, sometimes 2 hours. What about dancing for 2 hours, right? So it is an enjoyable time, even though I don't take drugs. Completely different experience. Of course, I'm not going to hide that, but yeah. So, and this is another interesting comment that they made me, and we're going to start from that. I'm really upset. My lives are blocked on Instagram. Fuck them, man. I think there's a third set, so we have a fourth one. A little help at the end from my hand. You still looked fit when you did. You still looked fit. When did you fit in training? If all you did was work, party, and slept. So this is what I said before, right? I was giving priority to my training. So my goal was training 3 times per week. That was my goal. On the other side, like, why did I look fit, like, defined? It was because, again, like, as a bartender, even though I was drinking during my shift, so extra calories, still, like, busy times in London, you move a lot. You really move a lot and you burn a lot of calories, so it's not that difficult to stay lean, even though your diet is not perfect. And I was training. I was trying to train 3 times per week. 3 times per week. I also started to do a bit of boxing there. So I think one of the reasons why I got into drugs, because I feel like most people, I was forced into this system where you are a slave of the system, and you work so many hours. And it's easy to forget what you really want to do in life and what truly makes you happy. And for me, has always been practicing some kind of sports. Like, so I think one of the reasons why I was in pain and I choose that path of drugs, it's because it was the quicker way to completely disconnect from the fact that I was forced to spend most of my life doing something that I don't really like, working as a bartender, which I did like it, but definitely when you work 70 hours or 60 hours, you do 12-hour shifts, sometimes you don't have your 2 days off. Sometimes if you have them, they're not one after the other. So you live in a cycle of doing things that you don't truly want to do, right? You don't really want that for your life. And so I was escaping that reality with partying and and drugs. And there's so many things though, to these. It's difficult to point only at one thing. Oof, almost. So I feel like my right is weaker than my left, which is weird. But I think it's just because I'm not resting in between. Done it! We've done it! So, weighted chin-ups now. That's the reason why I was fit, because I was indeed training, and here's another teaching that I would like people to get from these. In Italy there is a lot of this mindset, especially in the past. Like, you're either super healthy, or why do you do sport if you smoke? Why do you do sport if you drink? Why do you do sport? Why do you train if you then you take drugs on the weekend? Like, this mindset is like so wrong, and of course most of the time it's probably used by people that do not train, don't really do nothing. Perhaps they don't party like crazy motherfuckers like I was, but they're not optimizing their health. They are lazy, they're not trained, and so they use this thing to drag you down, right? To make you feel like what you're doing is not really worth it. But that's absolutely wrong. Like, if we want to go into studies, I'm not the study guy, but if you go to PubMed, physical activity will, I don't remember exact percentages and stuff, but it's the only one thing that can drop all-cause mortality, right? And there is this science that was talking about it, saying that someone that is obese but does physical exercise is likely to outlive someone that perhaps doesn't exercise and is not obese. All right? So of course I'm talking about an obese level that allows you to move. But same thing with the smoker. Someone that smokes but runs and goes to the gym, right, is going to outlive the person that, of course, the one that smokes and do nothing, but also the person that is sedentary. Being sedentary, it's very, very bad. So I think it's worse than smoking. Probably it's probably worse than smoking. So some people are like, they might don't start training because they smoke cigarettes, right? Or it's very hard for me because I smoke cigarettes, or I don't know, but this is another excuse. People that don't start the gym because their diet is not perfect. Have you ever heard of this? I mean, what can I say? That's not how it is. I don't want to say I'm lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself, but this is just not how things. That's not just how things work. If you smoke, it might be harder for you to get out there and run. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel like shit. But that feeling like shit is what you want. You need that. You need that good that fights the bad, right? That first run that's going to make you feel like you're dying because your lungs don't work. Well, it's going to turn on something in your brain. It's going to tell you, hey, maybe this is not that good for me. Or at least maybe I need to push myself and make this work. And this is what's going to happen. Even if you keep smoking and you start running, you are going to be able to run faster and longer and feel less fatigue and be able to breathe better. Trust me. So that's my ADHD, right? I look at something, I read it, and then I forget about it. So last week I've done 11, 12, and 12. I'll do the 11 again for my first set. See how it feels. Feels good. I think I'm going for 13 for the next one. I didn't cover a lot of these comments actually, but I think I made some good points. 10 kilograms, 11. Great. How did you get out of that lifestyle, and how did you land on veganism and calisthenics? So right, as I said before, start doing healthy things, even though like you're not fully committed to healthy behavior. You still have addictions, you still are hangover. Just this weekend, guys, this weekend, Saturday, I'll tell you what I drank. I probably drank 10 beers throughout the night. I have 3 rum and cokes, 1 shot of rum. That's about it. Okay, so not too hangover. I was doing okay, but a bit tired, bit of nausea, you know the drill. And we went for a 2-hour walk, and we ran back while in hangover. So, like pushing yourself to stick with what makes you a better person, even though you fucked up, it's going to help you first make this realization that, like the bad needs to go down, this needs to disappear as much as possible, because you have these other things that you can do that make you feel great and make you feel healthier and happy as well. Like I love the feeling of a 10K run. You're satisfied with yourself. You feel amazing. So how does veganism relate to this? Because there is another thing that people do not have in this world, and that is purpose. So, for me, when I was young, like my mentality there, and this is the mentality of most people, even though it shouldn't be supported as it is. Like people support the fact that, oh, you're young, don't worry, enjoy your time. Well, not. You're young, you have all the energy in the world, you are at the point at which you are the healthiest, you'll never feel like that again, and you're wasting it in parties. So that mentality is so wrong. Like, I wished I had better guidance. Oh. Yeah, boy, 13, nice. So I wish I had better guidance, but again, like with veganism, I found my purpose. I wanted to be an animal rights activism. I find something that was important to do, someone that needed me, because for sure that was always been a trait of mine. Like, not knowing that people needed me, but being useful, right? If we would go to a house party, I was always the one that cooks and wants to prepare drinks. I like to do stuff, and if I do stuff for others, then I like it more. And so veganism called me out. Animals need my help, and I want to do this. So one of my first events in an activist animal rights activism event, I went there with a container, steel bottle full of liquor. Why? Because it was Saturday. I was like, yes, I'm going to commit to this, but I still want to party. I don't really understand what's going on in my mind, but that's what the thing. However, doing that, drinking alcohol didn't really make me think much itself. But there was another time where I said yes to a friend to do cocaine. And the day after, I was supposed to go to an event with Anonymous for the Voiceless, and I ended up not sleeping. So here I go back to the same thing that I told you. Okay, I fucked up, but I don't give up on the thing that matter more. So I still go to do my activism, because for me that's an important purpose in life. I want to help the animals that go through hell. I'm not going to not help them just because I am hungover, I haven't slept, and I'm doing cocaine. I bring more cocaine with me at the event, but I go there and I do the event. But obviously, that switched on a light in my brain. Oh, let's go. Whew. So we do the last set without weights. And so another thing switched my brain. I'm like, what am I doing? It's kind of, I wasn't even thinking about, how can I explain this? So it wasn't that I didn't enjoy party, right? And I was concerned about the drug use. What I was concerned about is that I was prioritizing the drugs over saving animals, over doing activism, over doing something that is important, over something that I felt like it was my purpose. So this is the effect that veganism has on me, right? And for the calisthenics part, that was also in this question, well, I believe you understood that from the beginning, like it's actually sport training that made me realize that I had to slow down. Wow, it's crazy to think what we put our brains and bodies through. This is another thing that I want to comment. Take this as some kind of a laugh, my next statement, but after all the drugs I've done consecutive in one day, mixing different things, like not even being worried about what I was missing, like whatever you have, give it to me, especially if I didn't have anything on me. So and then people worrying about taking sweeteners, right? Or bread and sugar is addictive. Yeah, sure, bro. Bread and sugar. Try cocaine. So, hey man, the way I see it, those are good memories. A little fucked up, for sure. It may be, haha, but you learned, you change, you cherish. Exactly, like yesterday someone asked me if I regret it, if I would have changed it. And, you know, I feel like that is what my journey was meant to be. I don't see it any other ways. I know I've been a fighter all the way through, so that was just meant to be, you know. Last set, or maybe we give this an extra one, even though I've already done more than last week. So we got 15 body weight. Okay, so if I can do 15, I'll do another one. Oh, no way. Oh, this is only 10. Fuck. Oh. Nope, I already done more with my first exercise and with those extra reps in chin-ups. So let's try to hit 15, 13, 14. Oh, that's good enough for me. So we did, was that 11 plus 4? It was 11 plus 4. So let's go through those quickly. 52 minutes. We have 8 minutes still. I wonder how your body allowed you to do this for so long. Your liver especially. A lot to unpack. So here's the curious stuff. So all the time I've done some exams, any time of exams, blood tests, everything was okay, apart from some light, you know, I don't know how to explain, but it was something that my doctor wasn't worried about, but there was something not perfect with my liver. I think it was some like micro rocks that was going on, something like that. I should get it checked again and see how it is now, because when I did do that, I was still not as quiet as I am today. How old are you now? And why, how, still not sober life? You know, unfortunately, this is a huge topic, like the reason why I'm not sober. You know, I wanted to go over this more, but the reason why I'm not sober, I guess, is because I don't fully enjoy my sober times. I don't, you know, and it doesn't necessarily come from pain, as everyone says, or maybe it is, I don't know. It can simply be the fact that have been rolling so long into relying on substances to enjoy my time and be happy, then you know, you can imagine it became some kind of a routine and habits. My brain is accustomed to be happy, you know. And you know, for me actually, to truly kind of feel like I am in the moment when I'm doing something is where I'm doing snowboarding, right? Snowboarding is the one sport that makes me feel like a kid, like a child. I go up and down the slopes. I don't want to go home. I wake up early because I'm anxious. I want to do it. And by the way, this is a characteristic of people that tends to go into addictions, right? You are someone that is looking for some extreme feelings. It makes sense that snowboarding is the one thing that I enjoy. You can come, Cassis. And there's my girlfriend outside. I don't know. Maybe she's hearing me talking and she's not coming in. But anyway, yes, and you know, basically one thing that I definitely want to comment on this is that, you know, I thought that you would kind of forget about it. You know, 8 months sober. 8 months sober has been.
Hola, hello family.
8 months sober has been a long time, and this is something about addiction that I heard a psychiatrist say about addiction, that addiction is like having a drop that, you know, slowly hits your head consistently, one drop of water after the other, and basically you fall back into addiction when you scratch. And so these 8 months, and usually my life is like that, right? I'm always thinking about something, and I always have to say no to it. You know, I keep saying no. So until I keep saying no, it's all good. When I say yes, then I say yes. So like what I've noticed though, after 8 months of sobriety, and that is kind of what happened all the time. I did 1 month sober, 2 months sober, is that when then I go back to it, you know, I go hard as fuck. In fact, after my period of 8 months sober, I did 10 days straight doing cocaine. And one of the reasons why I'm not sober now is because I am testing it. So I'm testing. I say, okay, if I allow myself to kind of drink, maybe have a drink sometimes. I smoked a joint a few days ago in the evening, and that was actually pretty helpful. So I'm actually going to test that more, but I don't want to spend money on that right now. That's why we are growing a little plant. Hopefully it's going to be ready. No, it's not going to be soon, but I'm going to test that. And so that's the reason why I'm not sober now, because my anxiety was actually building up, right? Things weren't getting better. And again, like, there's a lot to unpack and to answer these only questions. We're at the end. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about my story? Leave a like if you are on YouTube, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Hopefully I'm going to be able to do live again soon.